Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to paint this watercolor landscape painting, The Trees in Grand Canyon. I will publish 3 new learning videos every week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Sunday, the reference image for the video that most viewed and commented, I will upload it on YouTube for my subscribers to download. How to subscribe? Click the subscribe button below this video. I will give you 5 seconds before we start the painting. You know, I use exclusively the brushes from enjoyingart. Order yours today at enjoyingart.com brushes. I'm going to first use a very light color, maybe the blue color. A very light blue color. That's good enough to do a little bit markup of the composition. So I'm going to take a look. This is some space at the front over here. And do you want to have a little bit more, a little bit less? Right now, it looks a little bit tiny. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have this just tiny a little bit higher, like that. That could be good enough, like this, all the way coming over here. And try to avoid to being flat. So pay attention to what you're going to pick up from the reference. Okay, coming like that. This is pretty good. So I'm going to continue, have a little bit red with the blue. And take a look at the location of those trees, which is the main elements in the painting. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm going to have this tree over here and the closest tree over there. And there's the other tree on this side. Okay, this is pretty good. And the location. Now I'm going to take a look at right over here, coming up. Here you go. And up over here a little bit more, and then all the way up over there, like that. This is good. And have some shadow tree like that. Pretty good. And here we go. Now I'm going to take a look on over here. I'm going to use a little bit lighter color like that. I'm going to just paint as the tree trunk coming up over here and straight up all the way. Here you go, like that. Here you go. This is good. I'm going to take a look at this one. And here you go. Keep going. And just a little idea of the space. Just a little bit suggestions. And you can change it anytime you want. I'm going to have this. Just get a little bit yellow. So I have a little bit more, like a little bit light brown color. This is even closer to the local color of the tree. I'm going to have it kind of all the way up over here. This is good. This is pretty good. All right. And then we'll take care of the leaves a little bit later. I don't want this is touching so close. So I'm going to give a little, such a little bit tiny reminder. So it's only this only up until here. Right. This is good. And I'm going to have this only closer to here. That's it. Don't get any closer than that. And I'm going to have some lighter color. So lighter green color over here. So I'm going to wash that a little bit off. And this is pretty good. Now I'm going to take a look at the landscape in the background. I'm just going to use a little bit blue, right? Tiny blue just for myself. So I'm going to take a look at the top over there. And I'm going to have it, that's just good, right here, all the way, like a horizon line, from here all the way over there, all the way over here. This is good, like that. And, well, there's also a little mountain over there. I can move it a little bit more to the center over here. And get a little bit warmer color. Take a little bit more of the Rocky Mountains of the Grand Canyons, right here. Get a little bit yellow. Okay, this is good, like that. So no worry. And those is going to become very light. And after you start painting it. Right, and the bench, and we can add that after. The bench is as mostly darker. And there's some two on the side over here, a little bit lighter. But if I have the second coat on it, just a little bit darker, red-brown color, and it would make that stand out. so no to worry about. Let's start the painting. Okay, I'm gonna start from the top. I like the blue color. It's pretty good. Keep it a little simple, and then set it as a pretty peaceful stage for all the main objects. Now I'm gonna take a look at what color is it. I'm gonna first take a little bit warm, the red shade blue color. So I'm going to just put that right here like that and get the green shade blue color. I'm going to have that and continue over here and just directly put it on. And I believe the green color have this in a little bit darker. The green a little bit darker, right? So I'm going to have just get the blue color. And I'm going to continue coming over here, coming down, and get a little bit lighter, coming down like this. It's good. So this will be a very good exercise to seeing what color darker, what color lighter. I'm going to keep coming down like this, just the water, coming down over here. And even go all the way over here. There's also have the blue color. You can see the purple actually have blue, right? If you done the color mixing exercise. And you can see that the purple, it is the red plus the blue color. So no worry too much about that. I think this is fine, and you don't have to do too much adjusting. And we can just going to see whatever it's going to come up, we're going to take it, right? Get the yellow and with the red and a little bit more. Get a little bit more yellow. Here we go. Now I'm going to take a look at, put it in the front over here. Maybe a little bit yellow. Have a little bit color change from here. Here you go. Like that. This is good. And wonderful. And if we want, we can have a little toothbrush effect to create that some texture at the front. Okay. Painting is just a very interesting and exciting thing. Every time when you start it, you don't know what and how the paint's going to end up to. It's going to be just take your time, enjoy it, and just lift up the wet outside of the painting on the board, so that it's not going to coming back to the painting to create the texture. You may not want it. Okay, this is pretty good at this point. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to just paint a little bit soft purple color. Let's take a look. I'm going to use, actually I have some purple color already already have it here. So I'm going to just take this color with the little blue color already there. So it's important to see what you have on the palette. But it's a very distance. You don't have to do too much contrast, just a little bit like that. Just is going to create enough suggestions. Okay, this is good. Coming from here all the way. Okay, this is still a little wet, so careful. Your brush would wipe off the paint underneath. Okay, like that. All right, pretty good. That's good enough suggestions for the very far distance. Now I'm going to continue having some little bit more tiny orange color. So this is orange color already here, but maybe a little bit tiny more red. Okay, have like that. This is good. Now I'm going to paint it right here, and we're going to have a little bit more separation a little bit later. Right now, it's not going to see too much. Okay. At the bottom over here, I'm going to keep it a little bit gap, but I don't want to touch into the wet paint underneath here. Okay, this is good. Now, on this side, what? Don't worry too much about. Okay, because that is going to have a little bit blue color in it after that dry. So it's going to separate a lot more. So what I'm going to doing over here, I'm going to keep that a little bit lighter. Just get a little bit lighter color. What I'm going to do, just a little bit tiny this kind of purple. Actually pretty good. There's a little bit purple color. I'm going to just have a little bit texture That's all you need. Okay, a little texture for the little closer object. That's good. Like that. That's good. Okay. Any texture that you have, it always convey to become closer evidence. So this is good. That is almost dry already. Now I'm going to come back over here to keep working in the background. And that's, I believe, already dry, right? Pretty close. Now I'm going to put a little bit darker color over here to separate this, the midground and the foreground. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little squint my eye, take a little bit blue. And if you have a little problem with them, it just think about, is that how dark? And then it will be how much blue, how much red. Just focus, pay attention. I think this is pretty good. I get a little bit tiny more red. Okay, this is good. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start adding this. You see that separate the foreground and the midground. This is good. I'm going to put that right here. Okay, and that's good. Like that. All right, I'm gonna have a little bit gap over here. This is good. And coming over here, I keep the bottom of the tree trunk. Okay, like that. Now, a little bit careful. We don't even know what's the bench, how I'm gonna leave it, right? So at this point, I'm going to make up my mind. That's the bottom of this bench, the side over here would be here. I'm going to put it over there. And on this side, right here, this is good. And then in the middle, yeah, this is one thing at a time when you make up your mind, your decision. Okay, so you don't have to plan everything ahead of time, just one step at a time. Okay, this is good. Now I'm going to get a little bit lighter, so let's get that little bit more, the purple color. Okay, you can mix the purple color with the red shade, blue color, and the red color. Okay, this is good. Like that, get a little bit lighter right here. Okay, I'm going to have this going up because those horizontal line is actually going to be darker. So only the bottom over here. Be a little careful. Now this is good. Now getting interesting. I'm going to have the right above that. I'm going to have a little bit tiny red. Okay, I'm going to keep using this flat brush for a little bit more time. I'm going to have that color over here. And a little bit color like that. And continue. And coming over here too, and I have a little bit red at the bottom over here. Here we go, like that. That's good. And now I'm gonna start having be patient. Okay, you're gonna see it very soon. I'm gonna have that little bit orange color in the midground over here. I'm gonna have that. Okay, see, have some texture. That's good. Coming down right from here, I'm gonna have that. Catch the shadow with the little blue color in a moment. That's good. I'm gonna have right here. That's good. Like that. That is the specific feature of the Grand Canyon. That's good. All right, getting a little bit small coming down. That's pretty good. All right, be patient and have fun. Very important. Now I'm gonna come to use the calligraphy brush, and I think this is still wet, but it's okay. I'm just gonna put it in the side over here. I'm gonna just take a little bit blue gray color. This very much color, the red and the blue color, right? Just very little, and I'm gonna have this just separate the mid and the background. Okay, that's good. See that? It's all about value and contrast. That's just good. Right over here. That's beautiful. I'm going to soften that a little bit on the top over there. Now I'm going to give it a little bit tiny separation. Just a little bit tiny of that color. Have a little bit line coming through like this. That's just the little bit shadow of this hill. Okay, this is good. Okay, keep a little simple. And the background over there. And I have a little bit tiny of this, a little bit warm color right over here. And keep a little bit broken line. That's just good enough. I'm going to keep a little bit tiny blue as well in the background. I'm going to have that right here, the mountain, like this. That's good. And the value and the contrast is very important. So don't have too much, okay, in the far distance. Making sure that this is maybe a little bit too dark already. Just wipe it off. That's just pretty good. And that color is okay. It's just good already. Now I'm going to take a look at a little bit closer over here. I'm going to have a just a little bit dark color. Or we can do that after, okay, in the detail. But at this point, let's add a little bit tiny more. Okay, that's just good. Get a little bit blue and the red color. Wonderful. And then I'm going to just put a little bit dark color over here. A little fill line. Still a little bit wet. This is good. Like that. Give a little fill suggestions at the bottom over here. That's just good. A little bit darker color over here. And seeing that, there's a little bit darker color over here. Like this. This is good. I'm going to have a little bit dry brush very soon. Here you go. Okay. Have a little line. That's just good. Like that. Seeing the things in layers, seeing the things in different part and how they actually come together. And I'm going to have a little bit red shade blue color, which is French ultramarine. And use that color, put it here. You can see this color will be very interesting. Here you go. Like that. That's the very strong catch the shadow. And I can have that, put it over here. That's just good. And you can do a little bit more over here. Like that. So all the catch the shadow from the sun, it could have this similar color. And that's just good enough. Now, let's paint the trees. And then we're going to close up the painting. Before we paint the tree, let's paint the little bit green color at the front. So making sure those color have his important. So I'm going to just put the yellow color here. And let's see. Okay. And that's just too bright. So they get a little bit. It already turned into the green color already. Like the yellow green color. But it's still maybe a little bit too much. Get a little bit blue into it. That's just good. I'm going to have that. Use the side of the brush. Okay, that's just important. That's just good. And maybe have a little bit tiny more red, right? And if you don't want it to be that bright, get a little bit red into it. And get a little bit blue. This is good. Here we go. And a little bit dry brush, like over here, this too. That's good. Wonderful. Okay, keep it relaxing. And life is pretty headaches already. So keep a little bit fun. Okay, over here too. I'm going to maybe change the color a little bit. Make it a little bit tiny, a little bit warmer. Okay, like that. Tap on it. Okay, that's good. And some a little bit over here in the middle. Okay, right here. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, this is good. And down over here, I have a little bit more red color. So a little bit more like a brownish. And maybe just the brownish is fine. Okay. I'm going to have this down over here. Have a little bit dry brush. Like that. This is good. Okay. This is create contrast and the interesting dynamic pair. Like dry, wet, and thick, and thin. that creates something very interesting. I'm gonna have a little bit more green on this side too, but different kind of green. Here we go. That's good. And when we come over here, we see a little bit brown color. So get the yellow and red, brown, very much orange. Just get a little bit darker than that. So think about, I think just the orange would be good enough for now, because I already have some blue underneath, which is we painted in the sky, right? So have the orange that would mix that in the blue. That's just fine, like that. Okay, it's all right. Maybe a little bit too dark, but we're gonna keep it the way it is. That's just fine. It's important to keep the flexibility when you paint. Now I'm gonna paint the tree coming down. Let's take a look at here. This one, and ooh, I moved that a little bit too far. I think this is this. So I'm gonna move that a little bit more toward the right side. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have that a little bit over here, like that. A little bit to come a little bit over. That's just good. That's fine. Get a little bit more yellow. Mix into that. Okay, very good. Nice. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, now we're gonna mix the color. Think about the blue already in over there on the paper already. So it's the brown color. Brown color will be yellow, red, and a little blue, right? I'm gonna get a little bit blue. So this is the orange color plus a little bit blue, but it's already have some blue over there. So this color would be a good addition to the color they're already there. So I'm gonna take a look how it look. Okay, I'm gonna start from here. So that pretty good. I'm gonna have it put it down, and maybe a little bit too dark, and just get a little bit water. Okay, here we go. And coming down from here, make it thick enough. Here we go. Coming down over here. That's smooth. Coming a little bit like this. Keep going down. You see that? Push the brush here to making sure it exactly the width. Okay, this is good. Now it's a little bit off, a tiny, but this is okay. And also gonna have a little bit blue and the color, because down over here there's no blue. The top over there, that's perfect, right? So I'm gonna have a little bit blue and add it too. So a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like that, and maybe just light up a tiny more. Okay, here you go. How light is important. That's good. Now I'm gonna use very much the same color onto this side for this tree trunk. Okay, here we go. And coming from here, not as thick as big. Okay, coming down over here. That's good. The bottom have a little bit more brown, so get the red and a little blue. A little bit more right over here. That's good. Like that. And also top over here. Keep coming. That's the tree. A little bit over here too. That's just good. That's just good. Great. And I'm gonna have a little bit darker. Let's take a look at a little bit darker brown color. So here we go. I'm gonna have this, maybe a little bit tiny more blue, especially the bottom. Doesn't really have much blue in the background. And now here we go. I'm gonna have this directly coming down. Okay. Here we go. Now take a look at it and keep it coming down a little bit slower moving. Okay, when you paint the tree trunk, make sure you get a little bit slower moving down. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. That's good. That's one. Pretty nice. Now I'm gonna coming the top over here as well, and be a little bit smaller. and the bottom over there. That's good. And I'm going to get tiny, a little bit darker. Get a little bit blue, a little bit red. Okay, this is good. Now I'm going to take a look at, I'm going to paint the one at the outside. Okay, here you go. Okay, here you go, like this. Look at it again. Okay, here you go. Look at it again. Pretty good. Keep going down. And right here. Okay. And I can have, this looks like a two together. And I have that a little bit. Open up a little bit more. And maybe a little bit thicker down over here. Coming down. Keep looking for it. Now, the next thing, I'm going to have one over here. Now here you go, a little bit split. And have a little bit tiny gap. Okay, here we go. Look at it again. Okay, here we go. Coming all the way down. And all the way down like this. That's good. Very good. All right, let's take a look. And I think we can make the tree a little bit thicker. So in that case, we're going to continue. We're going to make this a little bit thicker first. I'm going to make the thing a little bit thicker. And this is a little bit too thin. I'm going to take a look. Let's do this. Maybe a little bit more. Keep going. Okay, a little bit thicker. Tiny more thicker. Okay, here we go. Here we go. A little bit open, a little bit more onto this side. That's good. And this definitely going to be thicker, but take a look at this one. And I'm going to have this one more time. Coming down. That's beautiful. Like that. Okay. And then the one over here, the main one, I'm going to have it a little bit wider as well. So actually on the side over here, we can make a little bit shadow. It will look a little bit more wider, but I'm going to have a little bit blue. It's a little bit too much orange at the bottom over here. So here we go. Like that. That's good. Nice. And the top over there will be a lot darker. So this is good. And we're going to have the darker leaf in a moment. Okay. So we're going to come back over here to put the shadow. Catch the shadow on that too. But at this point, we can move on to look at the midground. So I'm going to have that a little bit green, a little bit blue. That's good enough for the top over there. I'm going to take a look at here. So keep it the brush here open, as just make it a little bit more easier on you. This is good. Okay, here we go. And just looking at, observe what is there, what you can use. Okay, here you go. A little bit more texture. That's good. A little bit texture over here. That's good. A little bit more in a row. Okay, like that. A little bit texture. And I can have just a little bit tiny darker. Okay, a little bit darker. Have a little bit dry brush. Okay, here you go. Like this. Have, looks like a small dry tree. Okay, like that. That's good. And a little bit at the bottom over here. That's good. I'm gonna have that little bit dry tree. Okay, this is good. Wonderful. I'm gonna put some dark color a little bit later. Okay, now the midground have enough interesting. Can maybe just a little bit tiny darker, but you don't want that anything in the background and the foreground to stand out a little bit too much. So okay, don't make the darkest color over there. Just okay, just a little bit detail like that. Okay, coming down over here. This is good. Okay, a little bit. That is good enough. Okay, maybe this a little bit too much. Okay, I'm going to soften that tiny a little bit more. That's good. Soften that a little bit tiny more. At this point, I'm going to do something to the foreground as well. I'm going to mix a little bit tiny brown color, the yellow, red, and a little tiny blue. All right, this is good. I'm going to just put it right over here, like that. That's good. And a little bit texture in the front over here. We can add a lot more texture by having some two brush technique. So I'm going to use the two brush, wet it a little bit, and I'm going to take the red, mix it into the blue over here. A little bit more red, mix into the blue. That would be a little bit more darker, like a brownish color. So this is good. We don't have to have too much, just two brush, like from here down. That's good, like that. Okay, that's good. There are suggestions of the dusted earth. Okay, here you go. That's good. Wonderful. And now we're gonna move on to looking at the tree. This is good time. Now I'm gonna just paint the catch the shadow and mix the color a little bit darker. So just get the blue and the red color, right? Just think about this. All we do is the three color and plus the optional, the little bit red shade blue color. Okay, this is good. Now this is good for here. I'm going to start from this one. That's very good, like that. And here you go. This tree coming down to catch the shadow. That's the whole thing, the catch the shadow coming down all the way down over here. Here you go. A little big stop. Okay, that's good. A little bit over here. That's good. A little bit the bottom over here. Just look at it. Very dynamic. Very interesting. Okay. Okay, like that. And here you go. So another block of catch the shadow over there. I'm gonna have this and seeing a little edge over here. Okay, here you go. And the top over here. And here you go. I have another block of that. That's just good. A little diagonal. Seeing that, that's very interesting. It's all about connecting human experience. This is very interesting, right? Okay, coming down here. Now I'm gonna come in over here, this block, and a little bit over here. Yeah. And the top over there is a little big shadow. And we're gonna do the branches in a moment. So I'm gonna have this coming down a little bit more. And here you go, like that. A little bit soft, perfect. Catch the shadow, a little bit softer. That's just great. I'm gonna have the brush to get a little bit drier. So I'm gonna open it up a little bit more. And see that? There's a little bit open, a little bit more gap in between. That's good. And now this is the perfect timing for the shadow side of the trunk. Okay, so I'm gonna have this coming a little bit more. Okay, that's good. Like this, a little bit more open. Like that. That's good. Okay, that's just good. The top over here, just darker. That's the whole thing in the catch the shadow. All right, this is good. We can have just a little bit tiny texture on the side. That's good. Right here. And take a look over here on this side. Okay, get a little bit more red, tiny more red. The temperature very hard in that place. I'm gonna have that. This is good. Right here. This is good. The shadow. Catch the shadow. Very good. And over here, a little bit shadow. Okay, here you go. Like that. And a little bit catch the shadow on the top over there. This is getting good. You see that? Everything has come together slowly. Now I'm going to just get a little bit tiny, very light color. I'm going to have that. Just have a little bit dry brush. and have a little bit tiny, maybe even a little bit tiny more red on the shadow side here. Here you go, like that. Right here. This is good. That is good. All right, pretty good already. Also on this side, the consistency, and this is the catch the shadow. No, it's the catch shadow side of the tree. Also have the darker value. Okay, also on this side, I also have a little bit more. Here you go, a little bit darker right underneath. That's also a little bit darker, like that. That will be the catch the shadow as well. And a little bit catch the shadow over here too. Okay, this is pretty good. And now let's paint the darker color of the leaves and branches. Okay, when I have this a little bit darker, I'm gonna open it up. Now take a look at right here first. I'm gonna have that a little bit open. Okay, here you go. This is good. Okay, a little bit more like that, and open a little bit. That's a little bit shadow. That's good, right? Not much, a little bit. It will be fine. Okay, a little bit over here too. Make sure you observe and analyze it and make the big indication. This is good. Now I'm going to have this, a few small branches coming up like this, and maybe a little bit more. So I'm going to have that a little bit branches, and have a little bit darker. That's good, like that. As it looks pretty good. Maybe I have a little bit green color into it, but we're gonna see. Okay. Now coming over here, we have some branches, a little bit darker. Get the blue and the red color together. Okay, it's getting closer and closer. Make sure you keep the vision in your mind. Okay, keep your ideas, very important. And over here, and also have the small branch coming over a little bit more over here too, and this is good. And have the small branch, okay, coming out. Okay, here we go, like that. Don't get too close, and keep a little distance, a little gap. Okay, like this. That's good. Okay, like that. That's just good. And have a little line like this. There we go. That's good. That's a little line like this. Nice. And some small branches. Here you go. That's good. Wonderful. Like that. So you see how thick that would be. Like this. This is good. All right. Getting a lot more interesting. I'm going to have this also a little bit darker on the edge over here. Now here we go. Now I'm going to have that a little bit more just the side of the brush. Make it dry. Okay, at the bottom over here of this group. And a little bit darker on the bottom of this group. And the top over here have a little bit darker. And coming over here, I have some dry, very thin of the branches. That's just good. Getting there. I have a little bit more paint. Okay, like that. That's good. Okay. That's just good. Right here, have some dry brushes. Here you go. Oh, could be too close. Okay, this is good. A little bit over here on this side. Okay, have a little bit dry. Have over here too. Okay, this is pretty good. And just the idea. Okay, contrast. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. All right, pretty good. And a little bit dry over here. Now you can see that this is coming together very nice. Now I'm gonna have just the dark color and shape the tip of the brush, and then take a look. I'm gonna have some dry brush, some very thin line like that coming down. Okay, like this. There we go, like that. That's good. Okay, a little bit more coming over here, and that's just good. Have that little bit more grouping. Enough gap over here, pretty good so far. And a little bit gap coming over here. That's there. So some leaves in the shadow. Okay, this is good. Okay, now I'm gonna enhance that. Have a little bit more yellow with the a little bit yellow with a little bit Prussian blue. Here we go. A little bit more yellow, a little bit thicker. Now here we go. Now I'm gonna have another layer to making this a little bit more volume, a little bit different. Good, like that. A little bit over here too. That's good. Have a little bit over here too. Now I can see things a lot better. Okay, got the yellow with a little red on it if you want to. That's that. A lot more interesting. And like that, have a little bit tiny more over here. And that's good. And have like this, a little bit more. And a little bit green color over here too. That's just pretty good. Now I'm going to get a little bit red and yellow. Get a little bit orange color. And I'm going to put that right over here, a little bit warmer. That's just good. Like that, all about ideas. I'm going to have a little bit tiny more green color. So here we go, yellow. And get a little bit more red. This is good, a little bit tiny more. Actually here, you can see that a little bit through the light over here too. Like that, a little bit over here too. That's just good. Like that, nice. Okay, now going to be the last thing. We're going to paint the bench. The bench is pretty easy, just some darker color, which is the shadow. Get the red and the blue color, right? And see how much blue, how much red. That's good. Now take a look. And this going up, that's connected to the bottom over here. Have a little bit catch the shadow, a little bit on the side over here. This is good. Have a little bit line over, and somewhere just a little bit stop. Okay, like this, like that. This is pretty good. Now I'm gonna have two line, a little bit more blue, tiny more blue. Okay, let's take a look. And there's one coming all the way here. That's good. All the way there. And open a little bit more on the other side. And one more. And I'm going to put that all the way continue. Okay, let's see. All the way continue. Like that. Also a little bit outside. And I think the top over here can be also catch the shadow. So see that there's a little bit catch the shadow like that. So this is good. On the side over here, I'm gonna have a little bit darker over here too. It's see a little depth. Okay, like that. And also on this side, okay, see a little bit shadow like that. You see the bench? It's already there. It's all about suggestions. I'm gonna have a little bit tiny more red on the side over here. Okay, like that. It's not gonna be that bright. I'm gonna soften that a little bit tiny. I also have a little bit red at the front over here. So I'm gonna soften that a little bit. Just use the water. Doesn't need to be so much. I'm gonna have that a little bit softer coming up like this. Okay, that's very good. I'm gonna have that a little bit tiny more. I'm gonna change this a little bit slanted. Okay, like this. This is good. And also I'm going to soften that a little bit, see a little bit light. And in the middle over there, I'm going to have just tiny, a little bit darker. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna have a little bit tiny darker right here. Okay, a little bit stronger. That's good. And over here, a little bit darker, like that. A little bit darker on this side, like that. Just have fun. Very important. Be fun. And over here too, a little bit darker. All right, I'm gonna have, take a look at this gap. I'm gonna have a little bit more coming up. Divide this a little bit. I'm gonna have a couple lines like this and make the space work a little bit better. And I'm gonna have that a little bit over here, a little bit more, maybe not coming down over there, maybe just right here. Okay, this is good. This is just a couple line of tree, like that. That's good enough. Soften that a little bit tiny. Okay, and maybe a little bit more, tiny more green. There you go. That's good. A little bit more green. Okay, and let's see. I'm gonna break up this a little bit tiny more, because maybe just have a little bit darker color right in between over here. Okay, like that. That's good. Okay, that a little bit better. Soften that, tiny a little bit more. Okay, now this painting is finished. If you also like oil painting, you can see how I paint this in another YouTube channel. The link in the description. I will see you in my next video.